Welcome to this deep dive, and today we're going to be looking at caring for conservation, which is a blog all about caring for conservation.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's going to be good
Yeah.
because we're not just diving into the blog's content. We're like taking a look behind the scenes to learn more about the person who actually created it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's like getting a sneak peek into the driving force behind the words.
Yeah.
The source for this deep dive is the About the Author page, which gives us some, real insight into the journey of the blog's creator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what I love about this page is that the story behind the blog is just as captivating as the conservation topics it covers.
Oh, for sure.
We're introduced to Dylan Matthews, a teenager who describes himself as having an ambition to help conserve the world for future generations.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that statement alone speaks volumes about his dedication.
Right.
It highlights a key point we often see in conservation.
Yeah.
It's not just about protecting the environment for ourselves, but also ensuring its health and beauty for generations to come.
Absolutely. And this isn't some fleeting interest for Dylan.
No.
This passion for conservation, specifically for rhinos,
Oh.
goes all the way back to his childhood.
Oh, wow.
He mentions that his fascination with rhinos began in kindergarten when he was captivated by a children's book about rhino poaching.
Wow, it's amazing how a single book, a story, can spark a lifelong passion.
Yeah.
This really underscores the importance of early exposure to nature and conservation themes.
I agree.
These early experiences can have a profound impact shaping our values and inspiring us to take action.
You're right. And Dylan didn't just passively absorb information.
No,
He was inspired to make a real difference.
that's great.
Back in grade 5, he and his friends organized a craft sale to raise money for Save the Rhinos International.
Wow.
They ended up raising over R1000,
Wow.
which for those unfamiliar is the South African rand.
Oh, okay.
That's roughly $50.
Mm.
Not bad for a group of elementary school students.
That's an incredible feat for such young kids.
I think so.
It shows that age is no barrier to making a difference.
Yeah.
It also highlights the power of collective action.
Right.
When people come together,
Yeah.
even small efforts can have a significant impact.
I'm also struck by Dylan's initiative and resourcefulness.
Yeah.
They saw a problem,
Mm.
came up with a creative solution, and took action.
Yeah.
And it seems like that drive to turn inspiration into action is a recurring theme in Dylan's journey.
Yeah, I can see that.
He mentions being particularly inspired by the work of conservationists Lawrence Anthony and Grant Folds.
Ah, two giants in the world of conservation.
Yeah.
Lawrence Anthony, known as the Elephant Whisperer, was renowned for his work with traumatized elephants,
Right.
while Grant Folds has dedicated his life to rhino conservation.
Their work is truly remarkable.
Hmm.
I can see why Dylan would be drawn to their stories.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, did their work specifically inspire any of Dylan's early actions, like the fundraising in grade 5?
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Role models have a powerful way of shaping our aspirations and guiding our actions,
Right.
particularly when it comes to fields like conservation, where passion and dedication are so crucial.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be surprising if their stories planted the seed for Dylan's early fundraising efforts.
definitely. And that connection to role models becomes even clearer when we learn about Dylan's project during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It seems he was deeply moved by the plight of the northern white rhinos, a subspecies on the brink of extinction.
Yeah, that's a situation that would tug at the heartstrings of any conservationist.
For sure.
The northern white rhino story is a stark reminder of the fragility of biodiversity and the devastating impact of human activities.
Absolutely. And we'll be diving into the specifics of that situation in a later part of our deep dive, so stay tuned for that.
Okay.
But for now, I want to focus on the fact that Dylan didn't just passively worry about the rhinos, he took action.
Good for him.
Inspired by Anthony and Folds, he launched a project during the pandemic to raise awareness and funds for this critically endangered subspecies.
Wow, it's a testament to his unwavering commitment to conservation.
Yeah.
He saw a problem, and rather than feeling powerless, he channeled his energy into making a difference.
Right.
That's a valuable lesson for all of us.
Yeah.
We can all make a difference no matter our age or resources if we're willing to take action.
Couldn't agree more. And it seems like Dylan's commitment to hands-on experience is another key part of his journey.
Okay.
He mentions volunteering at the Two Oceans Aquarium in Cape Town.
That's an incredible opportunity. The Two Oceans Aquarium is renowned for its work,
Yes.
especially their Turtle Rehabilitation Center,
Right.
which plays a vital role in protecting marine ecosystems.
That's a perfect example of how individual actions can contribute to larger conservation efforts. I'm eager to hear more about Dylan's experiences there and what he learned from working directly with wildlife.
Yeah, I think what's interesting here is how Dylan's journey shows us the different paths we can take to contribute to conservation.
Right.
It's not just about becoming a scientist or a park ranger.
Yeah.
There are countless ways to get involved, and it's often about finding the intersection of our passions and skills.
You're so right. And speaking of finding that intersection, Dylan ultimately decided to pursue filmmaking rather than a traditional career in wildlife conservation.
Oh, it's a fascinating turn.
Yeah,
I'm curious to hear how he plans to use filmmaking to further his conservation goals.
me too. He mentions wanting to amplify the voices of voiceless wildlife.
Oh, wow.
There's something really powerful about that statement. It suggests a deep understanding of the role storytelling can play in raising awareness and inspiring action.
Indeed, storytelling has an incredible power to connect people to nature and create empathy for other species.
Yeah,
It can be a powerful tool for conservation, especially in our increasingly digital world.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just think about the impact of documentaries like Planet Earth or My Octopus Teacher.
Oh,
They've captivated audiences worldwide and sparked important conversations about our relationship with the natural world.
exactly. Those films demonstrate how storytelling can shift perspectives and inspire action.
Yes.
And it's not just limited to large-scale productions.
Right.
Even individual bloggers, photographers, and artists can make a difference by sharing their passion for conservation through their unique mediums.
Which brings us back to Dylan and his blog, Caring for Conservation.
Yeah.
He covers a range of fascinating topics, from the plight of the northern white rhinos to the alarming statistics on rhino poaching.
Mhm.
We'll be diving into those specific posts in the future episodes, but for now,
Yeah, it's remarkable how Dylan's journey has evolved from a childhood fascination with rhinos to this multifaceted approach to conservation that encompasses fundraising,
Yeah.
hands-on experience,
yeah,
and now filmmaking and blogging.
it's a testament to his passion and dedication, and it's truly inspiring to see how he's found creative ways to make a difference.
And it leaves us with a lot to ponder.
I know.
What can we learn from Dylan's journey? Yeah. How can we apply his passion and resourcefulness to our own lives and our own efforts to protect the planet?
Such great questions.
Yeah.
And those are the questions we'll be exploring as we continue our deep dive into caring for conservation. So stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve into the specifics of the northern white rhino crisis and the efforts being made to save this remarkable subspecies.
Sounds good. So picking up where we left off, I think it's fascinating how Dylan's early interest in rhinos has stayed with him.
Yeah,
You know, his blog is a testament to that enduring passion.
absolutely. And it's a good thing, too, because rhinos are facing some, really daunting challenges.
Oh, yeah.
In one post, Dylan focuses on the northern white rhinos, a subspecies teetering on the very edge of extinction.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking situation.
Yeah.
Only 2 northern white rhinos are left in the entire world,
Wow.
and they're both female.
It's almost unbelievable to think about just 2 individuals representing an entire subspecies.
I know.
And Dylan's blog post really brings that stark reality to the forefront. He mentions that the last 2 remaining females, Najine and Fatu, are unable to reproduce naturally.
Oh, wow.
Najine is too old, and Fatu has some health complications.
It really is a race against time for the northern white rhino.
Yeah.
And what makes Dylan's posts so compelling is his ability to weave in scientific information with personal reflections.
Okay.
He talks about the complex efforts being made to save the subspecies, things like in vitro fertilization,
Right.
using eggs from Najine and Fatu and frozen sperm from deceased males.
It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
It does, but this is cutting-edge science, and it holds a glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
Essentially, scientists are trying to create viable embryos in a lab setting that can then be implanted in surrogate mothers, potentially a closely related subspecies of rhino.
I understand the urgency, but IVF is a very complex process, isn't it?
Absolutely. IVF with rhinos is like uncharted territory.
Wow.
There are so many hurdles, from collecting and fertilizing the eggs to developing the right implantation techniques for a successful pregnancy. It requires highly specialized expertise,
Yeah.
significant resources,
Okay.
and even with all that, there's no guarantee of success.
So many challenges.
know.
It makes you appreciate the dedication of the scientists and conservationists who are working tirelessly to make this a reality. And I know you mentioned this earlier, but I think it's worth reiterating. There are also a lot of ethical considerations surrounding these kinds of interventions.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct to bring that up. We're talking about intervening in the natural course of evolution.
Yeah.
We have to ask ourselves, What are the long-term implications?
Right.
Is it justifiable to bring a species back from the brink using such methods? And even if we do succeed, what kind of world are we bringing them back to?
It's a complex situation with no easy answers, and I think Dylan does a great job of raising those questions in his post.
Yeah,
He presents the science, but he also encourages readers to think critically about the ethical considerations, the pros and cons of these groundbreaking technologies.
which is really important.
I agree.
It's not about advocating for one solution over another.
Yeah.
It's about encouraging informed discussion and helping people understand the complexities of these issues.
Exactly. And it's not just the northern white rhinos that are facing these threats.
Right.
Dylan also delves into the broader issue of rhino poaching in another blog post where he highlights some really disturbing statistics.
Yeah, this is where we see the devastating impact of human actions on a larger scale.
Right.
While there have been minor decreases in poaching numbers in certain areas,
Okay.
the overall trend remains incredibly concerning.
Yeah.
Rhinos continue to be poached at alarming rates, primarily for their horns.
It's hard to comprehend why.
You would think so.
I know.
There's absolutely no scientific evidence to support the supposed medicinal properties of rhino horn.
Right.
It's made of keratin, the same stuff as our fingernails and hair.
Wow.
Yet these unfounded beliefs fuel a lucrative black market trade,
Yeah.
driven by organized crime and demand from certain cultures.
It's truly heartbreaking to see these magnificent creatures hunted to near extinction for such baseless beliefs. The fact that Dylan connects these statistics to his own emotional response makes the situation even more impactful for the reader.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It highlights the real-world consequences of these numbers.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about data points, we're talking about living beings,
Right.
entire species being pushed towards oblivion.
It's a stark reminder of the need for effective conservation strategies.
And it's not simple.
Oh,
Addressing this complex crisis requires a multifaceted approach.
okay.
We need to tackle both the supply side, combating poaching and trafficking networks, and the demand side, challenging the cultural beliefs and market forces that drive the demand for rhino horn.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a multi-layered problem requiring a multi-layered solution.
Exactly. And that brings us to an important point.
Okay.
Dylan's blog isn't just about highlighting problems,
Right.
it's about inspiring action.
You're right. There's a thread of hope that runs through his posts,
Right.
especially when he focuses on the efforts being made to protect rhinos.
And that's so important.
I agree.
It would be easy to get bogged down by the dire statistics and the sheer scale of the challenge. But Dylan constantly reminds us that there are dedicated individuals and organizations working tirelessly to make a difference.
People like Lawrence Anthony and Grant Feld, who inspired Dylan to start his own conservation journey.
Yeah.
It's almost like a chain reaction of positive action.
It's a powerful image, a ripple effect of inspiration and action.
Yeah.
And it highlights a crucial point. We can all be part of that chain reaction. We
Right.
all have a role to play in shaping a more sustainable future for rhinos and for all species.
I love that idea. But sometimes it feels like the problems are so big
Yeah.
and our actions are so small.
Right.
What can one person really do?
That's a question many people ask, but remember, Dylan,
Yeah.
he started as just one kid with a passion for rhinos.
Good point. And look at the impact he's had, from raising awareness to inspiring others to take action.
Exactly. So what can one person do?
Yeah.
Well, for starters, we can support organizations working on the front lines of rhino conservation.
What else?
We can educate ourselves about the issues, talk to our friends and family about it, and use our voices to advocate for change. We can choose to support businesses and policies that prioritize sustainability and wildlife protection. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to a larger collective effort.
And I think Dylan's decision to study filmmaking is a really interesting example of how we can use our unique skills and talents to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember his statement about wanting to amplify the voices of voiceless wildlife?
Yes.
That, to me, sums up the power of storytelling and conservation.
I agree. And we've already seen how effective storytelling can be in raising awareness and driving change. Think about documentaries like Virunga, which brought the plight of mountain gorillas to a global audience.
Virunga's a fantastic example. It not only exposed the threats facing these gorillas, but also led to increased international pressure to protect the Virunga National Park.
Proof that films can be powerful tools for conservation. And I'm sure you're familiar with the Ivory game as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
That documentary was instrumental in exposing the brutal world of ivory trafficking and helped bring down major traffickers.
It's incredible to see how filmmaking can be a catalyst for change.
Yeah.
And it makes me even more excited to see what Dylan accomplishes with his filmmaking career.
Me too. And it reminds us that each of us has a unique role to play in conservation.
Right.
We can all contribute in our own way using our voices, our skills, and our passion to protect the incredible biodiversity of our planet.
That's a really inspiring thought. So as we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive into caring for conservation,
Yeah.
we're left with a sense of both the urgency of the challenges facing wildlife
Yeah?
and the potential for positive change.
Dylan's journey from that childhood fascination with rhinos to a budding filmmaker passionate about conservation shows us that we can all make a difference.
Yeah.
It starts with understanding the issues, finding what resonates with us, and then taking action, however small it might seem.
And for those interested in learning more about Dylan's work and the fascinating world of conservation, I encourage you to check out his blog, Caring for Conservation. You can find the link on our episode page. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll delve deeper into the power of storytelling and its impact on conservation efforts worldwide.
Yeah. You know, it's truly inspiring to see what Dylan has already accomplished at such a young age.
Yeah.
He's a shining example of how you don't need to be a world-renowned scientist or filmmaker to make
Yeah.
a difference in conservation.
Yeah.
And I think his willingness to learn and evolve is truly remarkable.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
He began with a passion for rhinos, but then broadened his scope to encompass a wider range of species and ecosystems.
Right. And then recognizing the power of storytelling, he even shifted his career path to pursue filmmaking. That's true.
Yeah.
That's a great reminder for all of us that our interests and skills can change over time.
Yeah.
What's important is finding ways to align those passions and skills to make a positive impact on the world around us.
Absolutely. Life is all about embracing lifelong learning and being open to new possibilities.
Right.
Perhaps you started out as a bird watcher, and now you're fascinated by the interconnectedness of entire ecosystems.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're a tech whiz who realizes you can use your coding skills to create an app that helps track endangered species.
Exactly.
The possibilities are truly limitless. It all comes back to that question you posed earlier.
Yeah.
How can we use our own unique skills and interests to support conservation efforts?
Yeah, it's a question worth pondering. And here's the thing, it's not about making grand gestures or upending your entire life.
Right.
Sometimes the most impactful actions are those small everyday choices we make.
What are some examples?
Well, it could be as simple as reducing your plastic consumption, choosing to support businesses committed to sustainability, or even just educating yourself about the environmental challenges facing your local community. Every step we take, no matter how small, contributes to a larger collective effort.
That's a really empowering message.
Yeah.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the enormity of environmental issues.
Yeah.
Climate change, deforestation, plastic pollution. It can feel like a never-ending list of problems.
Right.
But Dylan's story reminds us that individual action truly can make a difference.
And remember, it's not about being perfect. None of us are. It's about showing up, being curious, being willing to learn, and most importantly, taking consistent action, even if it's just one small step at a time.
I love that. Show up, be curious, and take action.
Right.
Those are words to live by. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of caring for conservation,
Yeah.
I'm left feeling incredibly inspired. Dylan Matthews' story is a powerful reminder that each of us has the potential to make a positive impact on the world, no matter our age or background.
Absolutely. His journey reminds us that passion, perseverance, and the belief that even one person can make a difference are powerful forces for change.
And for our listeners, we encourage you to check out Dylan's blog, Caring for Conservation. Dive deeper into the topics that spark your interest. Learn more about the challenges facing our planet, and most importantly, find your own unique way to contribute to the vital work of conservation. Because ultimately, the future of our planet depends on the actions we take today.
Well said. And thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes.
We hope you found it informative and inspiring.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep caring for our amazing planet.